important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
That you'll meet one of these days. Glenn Calkins, one of my good brothers here, has actually shared with me lots of different ways to be able to unsoften, or to make this cement soft. You cannot open up the pores unless you use a solvent. We're going to get into this later too. You'll see. And I'm gonna show you. I'll take my shirt off and I'll scrape myself just to show you. Oh yes, I got bruises before. And I'm gonna share with you maybe one or two other people, and you'll notice that everyone here will go ahead and get these colored marks because it's regeneration of the tissue. It's called gua sha. And gua sha, of course, is regeneration when we're actually smart enough to soften up what we want to break down first. If not, all you're going to do is get a lot of bruises what do you want to say? Look like someone beat you up. Now, real simple. Metacardium has been designed to be able to actually be smart with you, because tomorrow you got to work. Tomorrow you got things to do. And you don't have to go to the doctor to figure this out, because you did before. You didn't even know about this. Look it up. You'll see that ethylene diamine tetracetic acid grabs the things. It's a chelator. It's a claw, means in Greek, claw, to chelate, to claw. Okay? Now, if you take it through the mouth, 80% of it to 90% of it is destroyed because it's an amino acid. It hits hydrochloric acid and destroys itself. You can do IV, but it only cleans up the blood. That's cool. Very expensive, and you got to go to the doctor's office, waste your time, and remember, ask the doctor not about his degree, ask him to drop his clothes, and I want to see your pedigree before you start working on me. Because you're actually looking at toxicity. And body fat is toxicity, end of story. We can deny it. It's what it is. I've lost 40 pounds of baggage. 40 pounds. I couldn't do the splits like that before. Remember, I was totally disabled in 1997. Broken hand. I never went through this there, and my story is so big, it takes me all day to keep on going through it. And a lot of the things we're going to actually share with you about is, I have 5, 10, 15 minutes, I call them snippet documentaries, where I'm sharing with people little pieces of the pie, small amounts at a time, and when you see these, that's why they're called documentaries. When you see them, they will rock your world. They'll change the way you see things, and if it's actually, as Dave and I have talked about, we need a way here. We call it the 3 E's. Easy, economical, efficient, and accessible. And if you can't have all those things, I can wake you up. Sure, you go to Whole Foods and you walk in there and you go, whoa, this is not a health food store, it's a healthier food store. Ooh. It's a healthier food store, okay? Now, the store we put together here, Robert Williams, my good brother, where is he? Without his help, this would have been a joke, okay? This would have been a joke. I couldn't have traveled the world to find the best of the best of the best and then deal with the people in other parts of the world that you better make relationships, because sending 10 or 20,000 to a guy in Turkey is not cool when they close their doors tomorrow and or send you something you didn't order. And remember, it's payment in full on first order when you get started until they get to know you, because they don't trust you as much as you trust them. So this whole piece of the game, I just want to open up your eyes. There's a bunch of little pieces here. And what we can do is actually really go down. Dave and I and you guys, we can go through some specific things, but number one thing we're going to show you is how to clean the skin. And you're going to use, I call it dissolvitol. Dissolvitol is a high concentrate fulvicumic and olmic acid with MSM and orthosilicic acid, which is a drop of silicon. Okay? This will open up the pores. We'll actually start to go ahead and take the inorganic minerals that have been stuck and cemented and start to break them into organic minerals to be passed. We know what acids are, and we think most acids are bad for you. Well, you betcha they are. Sulfuric acid is in everybody's water supply, most of it. It's in your air. It's pollution. It's volcanic activity. Sulfuric acid rain. Acetic acid. These are corrosive acids that are in your diet right now. And we will go over this too. How to take water and neutralize it. Very important. You talk about coral minerals before, and you know that if you drink that with any sulfuric acid, you just made cement. Okay? What do you think kidney stones are? You think brain sand is? You think arterial atherosclerosis is? You think these tissues that you can't see, these are oxalate poisoning. Oxalate poisoning. And all you have to do is to see if you have it, is squeeze the tissues and see if it bruises. I had it before, and I still have it in my legs. I had huge amounts. Remember, I lost 40 pounds of baggage. I'm about 133 pounds right now. And I have muscles and weird things I've never seen before when I used to actually compete as a teenager in bodybuilding. And I really see this as, remember, lean is clean. You will see. And clean is lean. Okay, it's a paradox on each side. Lean is clean and lean is clean and clean is lean. Do you live to eat or do you eat to live? It's the same parable. Do you live to eat or do you eat to live? These are weird questions. These are conscious questions. Because remember, we're esotericists. And what's behind the veil? Why would I ask that question? Are you living to eat? Are you eating 8 meals a day because you're servicing your anaerobic reptilian microbes inside your system or our systems? Remember, most of us have visual, at least 10 to 15 different species of visual called macroparasites, not micro. Got to have a microscope. These are macro. Means we can see them with our eyeballs. Whoa. Last retreat, remember Susan? Susan's a hydrotherapist, colon therapist on the big island of Hawaii, and anybody in here in 3 days. Wow. Wait until you see, remember, and no killing anything. I can only tell you one thing. And I can tell you this with certainty. I would not pick a fight with the things that are living inside your body. That would not be a very smart. All we know is cutting, burning, and poisoning is cutting a distinct fight with this thing inside the body. Remember, you go to the doctor, okay, says you have some type of sickness. You got good insurance, Miss McGillicuddy. Pretty good. Everything will be covered under you, and we can extend your life. Remember, they said you have cancer, stage 4. We can cut it, we can burn it, and we can poison it. You know how to translate cut, burn, and poison. Tell me what that means. Cut, burn, radiation, and poison a lot of pharmaceuticals, because if it's a chemical, it has residue. Okay, chemicals, residue. Okay, all different types of chemicals, pills, fragrances, perfumes, chemicals have residue. Okay, so again, we want to clean up our acts. We find out that we're actually pretty polluted. We find out that most of the things that we do aren't really correct, so we start to actually change those things. You take up in the morning, shower to chlorinator. What shower to chlorinator do you get? Do you go on the internet and find that, oh, I'm going to buy a shower chlorinator, and you buy one, it's actually just a charcoal filter, and it does work in cold water. A charcoal filter does not work in hot water. It does one time. Okay? Come on, it's time to wake up, guys. And this is the problem here. We really want to go forward, but you got to really see that there's a lot of confusion out there. Super amount. This is the reason why, I tell you, Dave and I know, all the other brothers that we've been actually, this is what you're doing. We're stepping up to the plate here, and we're actually sharing with you an observation of some things that actually would make sense to you. And reasonable and logical movement, we know that you're here for a reason, is because you want to grow. And if you want to grow, remember, we can't tell you what to do, because we know this is such a super sensitive paradigm. So all we need to do is know that we have things to do, and then we need to find out and see what others have done to be able to actually change their selves. Remember in the Matrix, you got the the Neo and Oracle episode. And the Oracle says to Neo, do you know what that means above the door? Remember, in Latin, to know thyself. Remember, insensation, to look inside yourself and to actually really see that this machine is a beautiful, beautiful, repairable and rejuvenational machine. As long as you don't try to fix it, it'll fix itself as long as you give it what it needs to do it. Remember, that's the big thing I'm only trying to share with you. And there's a lot of people out there that call themselves healers. I say, take your clothes off, show me you've healed yourself. Come on. Can't actually be 300 pounds and sell health anymore. My mom just passed last year, and I got a chance to really see, hello Mom. I got a chance to really see a system that all of us are going to have to deal with sooner or later, whether you like it or not. And I would believe that you wouldn't want to have this situation happen to you because experience is cool, but suffering for a few years is not really cool. If I want to leave the planet, I want a knight's death. Quick one. I want to come here and have my experiences and actually be able to actually leave here as I came in. Beautiful. And you'll notice that most people here are not leaving that way. There are not people dying of old age anymore. We're dying of what sickness are you going to get today? And or what sickness do you want to actually talk about because it's everywhere. The swine flu. Swine means pig. I, as a parasitologist, see the swine as the pork tapeworm. And the pork tapeworm, of course, is badass. We're going to show you some pictures of it. Don't matter if you didn't have a piece of... I'm just talking like this because it doesn't matter if you had a piece of pork or not. Oh, my religion doesn't let me eat pork. So you had maybe a housekeeper, someone who came to your house that did, and these things usually shed 250,000 eggs a day. And they're looking for hosts. Put to the answer of the question. Remember, this is esoteric. Why would you think that somebody could actually attack a child, a 13 or 14-year-old child? They call them child molesters. What would make you think that somebody could do that? What person would you think would be delirious to be able to actually accomplish that act? Remember, I have a child. I couldn't imagine that. Remember, a 13-year-old child actually doing something that's not bizarre, really weird.